p.m. If it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you know what that means. It's Ask Dr. Kelly OMD. And I am Dr. Kelly OMD, board certified OBGYN and healthcare executive, here to help you live your healthiest and wealthiest life. That being said, we are on all of your social media channels, Vivalife Health Hub, as well as at Dr. Kelly OMD, on Facebook, as well as Instagram and YouTube, and LinkedIn under Kelly Elmore. Ideas are my own. But it's not about me tonight. It's about our special guest, Shikina Tellis. She is amazing. So we are both here because we don't want you just to survive. We want you to thrive. And the way that we're going to help you do that is through life coaching method that Shikina has created just for you. So that being said, Shikina, tell us a little bit about yourself and the 3 things that you want us to know and take away for tonight.
Thank you. So my name is Shikina Tellis. I'm the founder of TWS Coaching and Consulting Group. And I love working with professional women to help them move from chaotically managing all the multiple responsibilities they have to harmoniously thriving. And the top 3 things that I would like you to take away tonight are: number 1, that self-awareness, it's a lifelong journey. Number 2, self-awareness is a collaborative process. It's not a solo event. It is a collaborative process. And a strong self-awareness muscle, that's what you need to shift you from surviving to thriving.
Well, we are excited about that. And just, to start us off, because everybody may not be able to stay on the entire time, how do we get in touch with you?
Yeah, thank you very much. So you can get in touch with me at, you can either email me at info@shikinatellis.com. You can follow me on Facebook at Shikina Tellis 6, or you can follow me on Instagram at Shikina_Tellis.
Love it, love it, love it. So let's go ahead and dive in because we are really excited to hear not just about the 3 things, but I know people at the end are going to ask questions. So we want to make sure we get those questions in as well. So Shikina, help us become self-aware tonight.
Thank you. So definitely, like Dr. Kelly said, it's all about self-awareness. We are going to define it. And we're going to give you some tools. Hopefully, some of them, they may be new to you, and some of them may not be new to you. But what I'm going to ask you to do before we get started is we're going to engage in a little exercise that's designed to help you to prepare yourself to engage in the self-awareness process. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do now is I'm going to ask you to please sit comfortably with your spine straight and relaxed, your head straight, your chest open, and your feet flat on the floor. Please close your eyes when you're ready. Now we'll focus on your sense of touch. Rub 2 fingertips gently against each other with such attention that you can feel the fingertip ridges on both fingers. Now, rub all fingertips of one hand against the fingertips and palm of the other hand, slowly and gently, feeling every sensation. Now, put your right hand on your stomach and notice the gentle rising and falling of your stomach with each breath. Take your time, and when you feel ready, open your eyes. What did you experience? What did that feel like for you? Just one word that tells me what that felt like for you. What was that experience like? When we have peace and we are calm, that helps us with that self-awareness process. So for our conversation tonight, Self-awareness is defined as the ability to understand our thoughts, emotions, values, beliefs, and behaviors. And when we operate from a place of self-awareness, it allows us to make informed, conscious choices. So remembering that our definition for tonight, for our time together, is the ability to understand our thoughts, emotions, values, beliefs, and behaviors. So research shows that while 95% of people indicate that they are self-aware, about 10 to 15% of people are actually self-aware. I notice with my coaching clients, a lot of times they'll come in for various challenges, uh, basically things that deal with navigating their day-to-day, either their career or relationship, both professional or personal relationships. And they'll have concerns around those things. And what typically happens during the coaching process is we discover that the heart of the problem, of the challenges that they're experiencing, aren't the problem, it's a self-awareness issue. And so what we do is in our time together, our coaching partnership, is we dig a little deeper to figure out where they are not self-aware, right? And then we help them kind of learn how to be self-aware, kind of explore what their emotions, their feelings, their behaviors, what those things are telling them, and then help them to come up with a plan in order to be more self-aware. And not only just to be self-aware, but to move with action, right? From surviving to thriving. And I know my personal struggle with self-awareness was around my career. And as I was trying to decide what I was going to do next, I didn't realize what was happening. I was experiencing things with just my thoughts, my emotions about the next, what my next steps were. And at the time, if you had said self-awareness to me, I've been like, I was like, what's that? And what I found as I began to really dig deep into the self-awareness process was that my thoughts, my emotions, and my behaviors were telling me it was time to do something different. That what I was doing, it wasn't in alignment with my values at this stage in my life. And so just by engaging in the self-awareness process, some things that I did to engage in the self-awareness process definitely were some internal things I did by myself solo, like prayer, reflection, journaling. Those were things. But then there were also external self-assessment tools that I used, things like having conversations with my family. I had counseling, saw a therapist. I had coaches, several different life coaches that I worked with. And then various, definitely my faith, my church group were very supportive. And so what I discovered in engaging in this process of self-awareness was that the career that aligned with where I was in this season, where I am in this season of life, surfaced. What I found was that with self-awareness, when we are self-awareness, there are several benefits that we have from being self-aware. It helps you with your decision making, and so that you make sure that the choices and the decisions that you make are aligned with your values and your goals. A lot of times when we hit a snag, it's because, or there's a tension, it's because our values, we're violating our values. And at the surface, we don't know, and we haven't taken that time to do that self-awareness work. Being able to identify misalignments and how to combat them. It also helps us in our relationships, our personal and our professional relationships, right? And it increases our ability to be resilient. Life happens to us all, right? And when we're self-aware, we realize that there's an issue and we get help. We need help. Sometimes we need help, right? And if we've done that work of self-awareness, then we're able to ask for what we need and then not be afraid to go out and get the help that we need. When we talk about mindfulness, a lot of times we think we have to go someplace and be captive or we can't move for 15, 20 minutes. However, there's a lot of things we do in our day-to-day routine that lend themselves to mindfulness practices. One of those things are brushing your teeth. When you're brushing your teeth, what do you typically do when you brush your teeth? You're normally brushing your teeth and you're thinking about everything you have to do on your to-do list and everything that you need to get done during the day, right? A way to brush your teeth mindfully is to brush your teeth, smell the toothpaste, feel the bristles on your gum line. Just feel it on your tongue when you scrape your tongue. Really feel all the sensations and focus on being fully present in that moment. Another mindful thing around something that we do quite often is eating. When we eat, we either sit there and we eat quickly and we get on to whatever the next thing is. But if we were to just to really eat, chew our food thoroughly, put your fork down between bites, just be and give your body the time that it needs in order to properly digest your food. And so these are ways that we can already incorporate mindfulness, which of course leads us to becoming more self-aware, right? Prepares us to become more self-aware, but we can incorporate mindfulness into our daily routines. Also, showering. How many of you have ever been showering or whatever your bathing routine is, and you'll notice that you're going along about your business and you can't remember if you watched a certain part, right? I don't know if that's ever not happened to anyone, but I know that happens to me sometimes. I'm like, you know what? It's because I'm thinking about what's on my to-do list. And so I'm starting all back over again simply because I wasn't fully present. I wasn't mindful as I was taking that shower. So, but those reflective practices are definitely strategies for becoming more self-aware. Feedback. Definitely. You want to get feedback. You want to solicit feedback from those that you feel safe with. Yes, you want folks to give you constructive feedback, but you also want them to talk about your strengths. What's easier to do? Is it easier, you think, to strengthen your strengths or to strengthen an area that requires improvement? So if what you focus on expands. So if you constantly focus on your weaknesses, guess where you're going to be stuck? In your weaknesses, right? And if you constantly focus on your strengths, then those are going to be things that are life-giving, right? And they're going to help you be more self-aware. But having those trusted friends, either family or colleagues, to help you gain insight about what your strengths, what your superpowers are, right? They'll tell you about your blind spots and your areas for growth, but they'll really be able to tell you about your strengths. And when you operate from a place of positivity, the outcomes are better. Outcomes are better. Assessments. Have you taken any type of assessment that kind of helps you measure about you, your personality, your emotions? So these are all assessments that are going to give you, that's a strategy that you can use to help you become more self-aware. And then positive intelligence. This will be the last one that I touch on as far as a strategy. The exercise that we did at the beginning of our time together was a positive intelligence exercise. And what positive intelligence does is it helps you to tap into, instead of relying on those negative voices that we typically rely on that have kept us safe from childhood, we rely on the sage part of our brain where positivity is, those positive emotions are. And when we do that, we have greater clarity. We're able to move forward in a way that's life-giving to us and to those around us. So using positive intelligence, that's also a strategy. And positive intelligence is kind of like an abbreviated emotional intelligence. So it's kind of like a subset of emotional intelligence, if you had to think about it. But that activity that we did at the beginning was a positive intelligence activity, and it's called a positive intelligence quotient repetition. And then last but certainly not least, continuous learning. Always be a lifelong learner. You're learning something. That definitely helps you to become self-aware because you don't stay the same. You don't stay the same and nothing around you stays the same. So definitely a strategy for self-awareness, which, right, is the ability to understand your thoughts, emotions, values, beliefs, and behaviors. That's a way to do it, is to continue to learn. And that's why you're here tonight, so that we can continue to learn together. And then I had one thing that I definitely wanted to share with you. We're about to come to the end, but I had a powerful self-awareness reframe. And in this powerful self-awareness reframe for me, I'm going to see if you'd noticed the difference. My life motto up until about maybe 2 months ago was, it's not about me. And what that looked like for me was, it's not about me, was me always making sure everybody else was taken care of, even at my own expense. So not taking that time to be self-aware. It's not about me. That's what we were told. Well, the powerful reframe that came up for me was, it's not all about me. In other words, it is about you, but it's not all about you. And so that's why when you look at self-awareness, you remember that although self-awareness is not all about you, it's about you. So there's a part that you play, but then there's a part that those in your sphere of influence also play. So as we wrap up, I want to check in with you again. I know you rated on a 1 to 5 how you were feeling about self-awareness. On a scale of 1 to 5, and if you said it was 5, if you could share anything new that you might have learned, but if yours wasn't a 5, on a scale of 1 to 5, where would you say your self-awareness is now? And if you were a 5, what's something you took away from this time this evening that you might be able to either share with others or apply to yourself? So, based on what we said we were going to talk about tonight, we were going to take away 3 takeaways. We said that self awareness is a lifelong journey, right? And to add to that, not only is it a lifelong journey, but it's a lifelong journey of asking what and not why. So, as I was working through those emotions and just trying to understand my thoughts, instead of asking myself, why was I feeling those? The better question was, what was leading me to feel those things? And as you ask those what, those open-ended positive questions, more will come up, more will surface. And so as I switched from asking the why to asking the what, of course, then clarity came on next steps for me. So self-awareness is a lifelong journey, a journey of asking what your internal and your external indicators are trying to tell you. It's a collaborative process. Although it's not all about you, it is still about you. And there is safety in a multitude of wise counselors. So always remembering that. And then remembering that a strong self-awareness muscle, it's a catalyst. It's a catalyst for shifting you from surviving to thriving.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I see Joanne saying self-awareness is taking time for yourself. Most definitely. And I love the way you talked about the fact that it's a lifelong journey. But can you explain to me a little bit more why we ask what instead of why? Because many times in leadership, we're told to ask why to actually find out the answer. But my question is the what. Please explain the what to me.
In coaching, we typically don't ask why questions. Why are more defensive. So you
Mm,
want to ask something that's broad, that opens you. When you ask why, you actually kind of shut yourself down and anyone else who you say why, because they get defensive. And so when you change that from that why to that what, it's more open. And so you begin to dig a little deeper to try to get that clarity that you need.
that I love that. Okay. My question is, what is the self-awareness discussion going to change for you? And then ask some questions of us as well. I see it says interesting shift from why to what. Yes. Let's see, Tandrea, you can come off of mute and ask your question, please.
Yes, Shikina, I'd like to know how do I maintain consistency of the 4 and the 5 level? Because you know how life happens, and sometimes you get so busy and you're scatterbrained, you're just everywhere. And sometimes I go through the ups and downs. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So I like the fact that how you know, talked about saying what versus why, but I want to find out what can I do to maintain consistency with the 4 and 5 level. Do you have any input for that?
So yeah, so I would say I think you hit the nail on the head because life is gonna life, right? It does. And so that's where those counselors come into play. And so that's why it's important not to try to do it as solo because life happens to us all. And so you need those, that battle buddy, you need that shipmate to come alongside you when life happens. And so the way to consistency is to number one, to be intentional about it, just like you do with your money, just like you do with your time, to be intentional about yourself. That's typically the person that we leave out of everything is ourselves. So the way to be more intentional is to treat it just like you treat your money, treat it just like you treat your time. And I know it's you, but remember, if you can't be there and show up in your full self, then you can't really take care of others.
Mm, that is so good. I just had that conversation about wanting people to be able to show up as their full self. And that explanation there is so important because, like you said, you cannot really be the person, the woman, the man that you were created to be, that you were given these, talents, skills, and abilities to be when you're like being oppressed, right? Or suppressed, or you're suppressing yourself, or you have fear, or whatever the case may be, that is keeping you from being your best self that you can be and thriving. Because when we're surviving, I mean, why for you is it about thriving and not just survival, Shikina?
Oh, I guess because you do it for so long, so you don't know that there's something different. And then when you discover that there's something different, just the peace that comes with that, it's like, why didn't I do this before? So for me, that's why it was so important, and knowing what it looked like. It's like once you know whatever that your favorite dish is, once you know what that tastes like, you really don't want a lot of other stuff. It's the same concept.
Thank you so much, Shikina. So, Shikina, we cannot leave here without understanding, okay, you're a life coach. So how do we get in touch with you? Because I'm telling you, people reach out to me all the time and say, you know what? I need a coach, and I need a counselor. And I'm like, you know what? We can get you with the counselor, but I got a good coach for you too. So help us understand how we can get in touch with you and what services you would be able to offer us.
So thank you. Thank you very much. So the way to get in touch with me, you can either you can email me at info@shikinatellis.com, or you can follow me I'm on Facebook at Shikina Tellis 6. I'm on Instagram at Shikina_Tellis, and I'm also on LinkedIn, Shikina Tellis. And I would say with the services that I provide, I don't only serve professional women. I also do work with couples, premarital couples, and couples that have been married for a while. I work with couples. And basically it's just helping you. Your journey is going to look different. So we come up with a plan that's tailored to you, and whether it be finances, career, or relationships, we kind of work through that, and we do that exploratory work. And we use tools like the positive intelligence. I have some neuroscience tools that I use. And so those are the main things that I use to just and thought-provoking questions.
Love it, love it, love it. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being on. Thank you for sharing your gift and your talent with us. And thank you for helping us not just survive, but thrive. And everybody, thank you so much for being on. This is Dr. Kelly, OMD. We meet here at 7:30 on Mondays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Mondays. And we make sure that we bring you education, inspiration, and empowerment so that you can live your healthiest and wealthiest life. And like we both said tonight, we are not here to just help you survive. We want you to thrive. And the way that you get in touch with me is just go to @DrKellyOMD or drkellyomd.com. And with that, we want to say good night. Have a wonderful day, and please be mindful as you go to sleep. Vivalife. All right. Thank you for being a part of the Vivalife experience. I'm Dr. Kelly OMD, board certified OBGYN and healthcare executive. If you like what you heard, then please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. The reason why is because we are trying to educate, encourage, and inspire 1 million people to live their healthiest and wealthiest life. And this is what we're bringing you. We're bringing you educational videos. We're bringing you podcasts. We are bringing you webinars with subject matter experts, including myself, about the topics that affect you the most. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and share. We are everywhere. Have a wonderful day. Vivalife.